and ladies, good evening. I am Styrofoam Ralph. This is Cups and the Gang live from the motherfucking Hot Box, man. It is a Taco Tuesday in the building. You know I got my dog with me, man. One half of Sports Reports as ordered 2-5. Mike Will representing live. What is going on, my brother? First and foremost, I don't think we've been in here since there has been an NBA draft. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Is there anything that stood out to you? First of all, as teams that were underwhelming in this year's draft.
Of course. I mean, it all starts and ends with a team in a city known as the Big Easy. I don't know what the hell, the Pelicans are doing, So like, okay, I don't have a problem with either player that they drafted in the first round. So Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, no problem at all with those draft picks. What I have a problem with is the fact that they were number 23 and to get up to 13 with Atlanta to get Derek Queen, they gave up their first round pick from next year, which was whichever was going to be the better pick between their own pick and Milwaukee's pick. So hypothetically speaking, right? Because I don't think the Pelicans are still a very good team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could see them being 27 to 33 wins, maybe.
With a healthy
So in essence,
Derrick
so in essence, what I'm saying
I hear
is
you.
they could end up winning the lottery,
Mm.
and that pick would go to Atlanta.
If they that trash though, and I'm not saying that they won't be. I don't. Do you think that?
Well, remember they don't have to be. Remember Dallas won 39 games this year and made the play in and still won the
Yeah,
lottery.
true. It's true. So I mean, I definitely feel you. And do you think that Zion could potentially be on the way out, or is this them saying that we are trying to help our young star who's either been hurt or just hasn't been able to put it together? Even though when he's on the floor, you can't deny the talent that he has. My dog El Resident
Stitch.
San Jose represent
Oh, Hannah.
in the building.
Saying Residente in the building. What up? So I think that the time to trade Zion was 2 years ago. Because you're still in a position where if I'm a prospective team that's looking at bringing him in, can you make it to the All-Star break without injury? You know what I mean? So I need to see that first because for somebody like him, former number one draft pick, is an efficient machine monster when he's on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you got to be on the court, so you want something back for him. But I can't give you that until he shows me that he can be there.
Right.
So I think right now you're trying to build around him, and then you'll just pivot as necessary.
So we've talked about the Pelicans. Um, is there another underwhelming team that you feel like, or maybe a team that might have done too much by maybe by
Well,
reaching?
that brings me to Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You had 5 first-round picks, and I like about one and a half of the players that you took.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And not only that, but I don't know how you don't package a couple of those picks to either get higher or to bring in somebody established. Because I mean, you could go with the hey, we're going young type attitude, but you also brought in Michael Porter Jr. too, who is young, but he's not necessarily on that same timeline as them.
And the
So
Cam
so so you were obviously willing to bring a vet in.
and the Cam Johnson that you traded away is definitely better than Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
So, I mean, and speaking of which, well no, let's stay with the draft. You didn't like the Nets, you didn't like the Pelicans. Do you have one more for us, or
Let me think here. Let me think for a second. Toronto. I never know what Toronto's doing. Like obviously they don't know what they're doing either because they fired Masai the day after the draft. But they just keep drafting and trading for different versions of the same player. And you know what I mean? They have no roster. It doesn't feel like they have any flexibility or variety of ways to attack you. So they just drafted a dude that's about Scotty Barnes' size, which is fine if you could shoot. You know what I mean? But like he's a Julius Randle clone, but I don't even know if he shoots as well as Julius Randle. And I mean, how I feel about Julius Randle shooting. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I just don't know what they're doing. And then today they gave Jakob Pertl 4 years, 104 million, and I don't know what direction they're going in. Are they rebuilding? Are they trying to contend? Are they just somewhere in the middle? I just don't know.
I want to talk about a team that finished near the bottom of the East last season, and they drafted Con Kneppel this year. What do you think that team is going to look like out in Buzz City?
Oh, I absolutely love their draft.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even though they're turning into Utah Jazz East over there. But
Exciting whites.
but I know, but I love their draft, even more than Con Knippel, because I think Con Knippel I'm not very high on, but there are players that you look at the team that they went to and you say to yourself, like, okay, Con Knippel is not coming into Charlotte to be the savior.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got Brandon Miller already. They got Melo already. So he can just fit in wherever he can slot. Pause. You know what I mean? Whereas, if he went to Utah, he's probably the best player on the roster. You know what I mean? If he went to Washington, he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 players on the roster. So I love the fact that he went to Charlotte because you can bring him along in a sharpshooter role that he kind of belongs in. Then they went and got Ryan Kalkbrenner, in the second round, who I wanted Boston to get. Kalkbrenner's my guy from Creighton. I don't know if people remember that overtime game they had with Oregon in the NCAA tournament, but that's my guy. And then they got Liam McNeely, another guy, who I'm not necessarily the highest on, but it checks boxes for what they need because they just need people that Melo can dish it to and be fairly reliable from distance. You don't need to come in there and average 18 points. So I like that because you're not putting a lot on the rookie's plate.
Right. Man, shout out to I was saying the entire time, Danny Wolf is going to be a Boston Celtic. And he literally ended up going the very pick before that we had the chance to pick.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. He went to the Nets.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who's Boston center going to be because they're talking about Al Horford might go to the Lakers or the Warriors. So, like, I don't know what Boston going to do at center if that happens.
Gave up Cornet, or Cornet, whatever his name is. You know what I'm saying? The guy we drafted is a wing, if that. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do at center. I mean, man.
I've been waiting for Residente to tell me, how happy he's been about the Miami pickups, but they ain't done shit.
Wow. We got rid of my last favorite player that we had. We did that. Got rid of the Duncan Hines.
I just don't understand what Miami and Memphis. No, he went to
traded.
Detroit.
Wow.
But I try to understand. I don't understand what Memphis or Miami is doing. So Memphis and Miami, the only difference between them really is Miami has an established one of the best head coaches in the league. But I think Miami takes that for granted. Like they're like, hey, Spo is so good that we should just throw anything out there. It's almost like the Mike Tomlin thing. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, yo, he's so good at what he does. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to give him a bunch of shit and say, turn it to Jello. And he will. And with Memphis, they traded Desmond Bane. So it's like, okay, what are they going to do? They picked up Cedric Coward in the draft, who I like a lot. I'm happy that he's not going to Duke this year. You know what I mean? But then, they went and got Ty Jerome, but they let Luke Kennard go. They gave, what's his name? Triple J, they gave him $240 million. So it goes back to the same thing. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to contend? Or like, are you just trying to have a team that you could tell the fans, hey, we tried?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real too.
Yeah.
And what did you Yeah, because the Grizzlies, and I told y'all from the jump, I was like, bro, they really don't have a choice. If he's gonna be a Grizzly, they're gonna have to pay him, and not only pay him, but they're gonna have to give him the max because he was damn near Defensive Player of the Year if he wasn't Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, they lucky because there's 3 all NBA teams. So 15 of them, 15 players selected. From what I heard this morning, I believe it was the mismatch, the NBA mismatch on The Athletic. They were saying that he finished number 17. So they were 2 slots away from having to give him 340.
I don't know what Memphis's goal is, and I know
Who, SGA?
No,
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
How much did he get?
He got 5 years, 240. But if he would have got like 2 more votes or something along those lines, like he finished number 17 out of the All NBA list. So if he would have made that top 15, he'd have been eligible for 340.
Dog, Jaren Jackson is making almost $50 million a year to play basketball.
Right. And that's why I'm saying, like, because Ja Morant, obviously super talented, obviously the best player on that team, but he just can't stay on the court either. Like, there was that stat I gave like a little while ago where he hasn't played, I think it was 10 consecutive games since 2022. You know what I mean? So it's like you got all your money tied up into him and Jaren Jackson. So what's the direction? You know what I mean? Like, I like the pickups that they've made this off season so far, but and I mean, and when you peel it back, before Ja started getting hurt this past year, like for real hurt, they were 34-15.
Yeah, he was balling.
Yeah, they were 34-15. So I understand, like, hey, we're right there. And remember, 2 years ago, they were the 2 seed. You know what I mean? So I understand the thinking of, hey, we're right there. But I just feel like you got to go get something established to put you over the hump.
Yeah.
So how do you like Walter Clayton? Is he a Wizard or is he a Jazz?
He's a Jazz. And that was the thing I was going to bring up real quick, and I know Residente will back me up on this. Pause. I was watching the NBA draft. I'm like, it's fucking 2025. Why are dudes still on stage with the wrong hat when we already know that they got traded? You know what I'm saying?
That's still weird.
I think it was Cam Jones, the guard from Marquette. He's going to the Pacers, but he came up on stage with the Spurs gear on, and he's like, I can't wait to get started in Indianapolis. So if you weren't really paying attention and you just walked in the room, you'd be like, hold up, what?
You know what he's talking about. So for the Pelicans, is Jeremiah Fears about to be a Dillingham or a Reed Shepherd situation?
I think that at best, your best case scenario is that he ends up being a Russell Westbrook type. Because he can't shoot to save his life. You know what I mean? Like, but in the paint, he's you can't stop him once he gets to the paint. You know what I mean? But I also feel like you already have that with DeJounte Murray. You already kind of have that same dynamic, but if he doesn't play this year, then I guess, you don't have to worry about that. So, and then you got to fit in Jordan Poole in there somewhere too.
Right.
I'm saying our fearless leader has gone freeze on us.
Oh boy. Well, keep going.
But so I don't know. Like, was there anybody who stood out to you as far as draft, or like good or bad?
I mean, I don't think we've had the Ace Bailey conversation yet.
Yeah, I was going to
Um,
bring that up in a minute.
uh, but I don't know who these people are, bro. Like, I don't, I don't, I don't know these guys, man. Like, they might be amazing young men. I know my Dookies. You know what I mean? I saw the Sion get drafted,
Uh huh.
so he's going to be either doing great things or terrible things for an NBA team this year. Um,
Yeah, yeah. He got drafted by
which
Charlotte
is
too.
yeah, he did. He's gonna be in Charlotte with Con's gonna be there, right?
Yeah,
Con and Sion together again.
yeah. They would have had Mark Williams, but they traded him draft night.
Yeah.
Which
So
was odd too because Phoenix, and I get it to some degree. Phoenix traded for him, but then they drafted Malawatch. So I guess you have some kind of mentor or stopgap if Malawatch needs time to
stop.
develop.
Phoenix is gonna be awful.
You know, I see,
My
and that's
bad,
the
bro.
problem with a team like Phoenix. With they got strong armed by Kevin Durant because they didn't get nearly back from Houston, but they should have got back. And you know what I mean.
They're
And
gonna
if
be
you're going to be
terrible.
this bad, you got to have picks. And that's the thing that Memphis got. For Desmond Bain, they got those 4 first-round picks.
Hmm.
So it's like
With Desmond Dane.
you got flexibility though. Like, you know what I mean? Like if trade deadline, somebody's out there disgruntled, you got 4 first-round picks to play with.
Yeah. Or you take the long term route like OKC did, and you just stack picks until you get the roster that you want.
Yeah, and that's why I like OKC's another team. They went out and got Thomas Sorber from Georgetown, and like a lot of people were like, "Who?" And I was like, "Oh, that's just Hartenstein's replacement 3 years from now."
Mm.
Like that's what that is. Like, you know what I mean? Because OKC doesn't really need to do anything. Like maybe they could get one more traditional shooter, but I don't think OKC really needs to do much. But back since you brought it up, this whole Ace Bailey thing was pretty anticlimactic.
To a degree, yeah.
He
I mean, it
did
sounds
all
like
that
he
to still
fired
end
his
up where he
agent
didn't want to
now.
be.
He fired him?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like he got some new representation now.
Let me see
No,
all
sorry,
that.
Ish.
Sorry, Ish. That guy. So I wanted so that to me was a much bigger than find a new agent. Let me see. He's to fire. Oh, called him out for him to fire him. I haven't seen him that he fired him. But
Oh, okay. I thought I had saw that he. Okay.
yeah. So that was a very personal thing to me because of the fact that like one of the things I care about the most is people giving kids good guidance. And I feel like that kid was given some of the worst guidance, and he had even worse answers to the terrible guidance. Because if you are, even if you got a kid that says, "Hey, I think I deserve to be a top 3 pick, or I deserve to be able to go to the team that I want to go to," your job is to make him understand why he is going to cost himself money. And I think what the original play was going to be coming off the Shadur thing was to make it seem like this was some kind of mistreatment of a young black man. The problem is this: when you don't work out for any team in the first round, yeah, you're going to be labeled, you're going to be judged, and it's not because you're a black kid who wants to choose your destiny. It's because this thing has the way that it goes. I can't, no matter how talented I am, if I'm a computer software engineer, right, and I decide I want to work for specific companies, but I'm offered to I'm not I'm but the process says I have to get interviewed by all these companies before in order to be selected to work with these companies. If I decide not to interview with any of the companies, they can say we don't want you. They have the right to say that. They have a right to say, no, buddy, you didn't go through our processes, so we're gonna exclude you. Or One of the random companies can just decide, hey, we're going to take him anywhere we think he's so talented. We're going to pull him in. His agent's job is to make him understand that.
Well, his agent wasn't even MBPA certified.
I'm like,
So
his
that's
See, I
agent,
didn't
if
know
you
that.
could have
one.
seen what his agent looked like, bro, I was like, I was.
Oh, I saw him.
I know his agent has a son that's in the G League and a daughter that's in the WNBA, but outside of that, I don't know much about him. But he is not certified. So
But I
that's
know he looked like he is Isha's friend. I know that.
right. He does look like his
He
man.
looked like when I look, I said, oh, this dude is definitely Isha's homeboy.
Well,
But then the other, but real quick, the other
okay.
thing that came out to me is, okay, if you're gonna do that, now you have to prepare him for the moment to make that statement where it sounds like he has a point. You can't say, I only do what I can control. Because guess what you can control? Whether or not you work out for teams. The only person that controls that is you. No one else controls that.
Well, see, for me, he started off on the wrong path to begin with, because the first thing that we heard about him once this draft process started was, yo, I thought he was 6'10", you know,
Oh yeah,
but he ended up being 6'7.5" or whatever it was. So it's like, you're not even the unicorn that we thought you were. You know, like we were thinking of you as like, hey, is this a KD type dude? Is this, you know, Jabari Smith or something along those lines? And it's like, you might be Carmelo Anthony.
Might be.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just saying, like, for today's NBA, you know what I mean? You might be Carmelo Anthony. So you already started off in a position of negativity. So then somehow the narrative, I've been beaten on the table, but my platform ain't big enough, because people keep saying, oh, well, how was he on this team and they didn't make the NCAA tournament? And I'm like, I don't know, but Dylan Harper was too, and he went number 2. So why ain't he getting the criticism, besides the fact that he's the point guard too? You know what I mean? So that was step 2 of that. So, but you can't necessarily, Ace Bailey can't come out and say, well, Dylan Harper was on that team with me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those things. So then he doesn't work out for anybody. I think he ended up working out for one team right before the draft. We don't know who that team is. But then it was like, okay, what's the best fit for him? So I wanted him in Washington since before last college season even started. So that was one of the places he wanted to go. He didn't want to go to Philly. And why? Because when we had this conversation last year, me and you in particular, you were big on Philly. And one of the comments that I made was like, yo, Philly's got too much. Like, there's just too many people that need to score. You know what I mean? So I can understand why he wouldn't want to go there. And this is the thing. You can say, I don't want to go to Philly. You can't say, I don't want to go to Philly. I don't want to go to Utah. I don't want to go to Charlotte. I
only want to go to 2 teams.
Yeah, like you can't just have a list of teams that you're excluding.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I mean? Because if you do, you got to be the number 1 overall. Like Cooper Flag can do that.
Right. And that was my other part is his agent's job is to make him understand leverage. If you don't have the leverage, you can't make those decisions, right? Like I can't, I do pretty good work, right, in the community. I can't go to the NFL and say, hey, I've done really good work in the community. Make me the GM of the San Francisco 49ers tomorrow. I can't do that. I don't have the cards. He has as many cards as I do to go try to be the GM of the San Francisco 49ers. You can be talented, but you gotta play. Guys, I know we as Black people don't like to believe that we have to like play by the rules of the game sometimes, right? I understand 400 years of slavery. I understand oppression. I understand redlining. I understand all the things, right? I understand the GI Bill was kept away from. I understand how when the suburbs were created, Black people were left out of that opportunity as well. I understand all these things. We still have to like follow the rules of like these things still apply to us. The draft still applies to us. And to those who are out there making the point that, oh, if this was a white kid, nobody would say anything. If a white kid came out and said, I'm not going to work out for any team that's drafting in the first round, we would laugh that white boy out the gym.
Unless it was Cooper Flag. Well, I mean, like as far as the NBA draft goes.
Well, Cooper Flag, we all saw Cooper Flag going one-on-one with NBA Olympians.
Right.
And not only holding his own, getting the better of a lot of them. That could qualify as a workout for all the teams.
Right.
Straight up, though.
But Con Knipple wasn't getting away with that.
No. Kneppel was not getting away with that.
I don't care how much they
Watts
love
was
his
not
mama.
getting away with that. Dylan Harper was not getting away with that. There's no other player in the draft that. So Ace Bailey, I think, you know what Ace Bailey reminds me of already? Lenny Cook.
Remember that name?
Already. Lenny Cook. I always tell kids about Lenny Cook. That's you can't get that dip on your chip before it's time. Earn your
Right.
stripes. Go to the league. Go to where they draft you and bust somebody's face open. Become that guy. Don't try to force that space that you're not ready for. You're not ready for it. Lenny Cook wasn't ready for it. You're not ready for it. Colby would have been ready for it.
Right.
Bide your time. Get to that first deal, dog. They just gave that guy, the Jalen Williams kid, from OKC with the extension. Isn't he like in his second year?
It's like third or fourth. Yeah. Real
But
young.
he got his extension way early. He didn't have to get it yet. Take it. Like you can come in, kill it, and like, oh, now I'm really gonna like you can become that guy in Utah. Karl Malone, the mailman, was one of the most well-known players in the NBA, and he played in Utah.
Well, and that's
It's
the thing.
definitely possible.
Like when you look at Utah, that's the thing. They're super young. You know what I mean? They don't have anybody that besides Laurie Markkinen, who they're trying to trade. They don't have anybody that established themselves as an alpha, if you will, the guy that's going to take over the game. So Utah's a perfect spot for him. Like, so me and Raph were talking about this the other night. I can understand because, I lived in Utah, so I can understand how culturally, you know what I mean? A dude from Tennessee, a 19-year-old black dude from Tennessee that played in New Jersey. Utah could be a culture shock. You know what I mean? I can understand that 100%. But once you look at that team, see the lack of talent on it, if it's about you being the star, if it's about you getting the roses at your feet, you probably couldn't have picked a better spot to go to.
Yeah.
Bruh. I mean, but him and Dylan Harper still didn't go nowhere at Rutgers. Was it? I mean, was it stylistically? I'm not understanding what it is.
That's my question. If they're
was-
that fire, how are 2 top 5 players on the same team and they don't do nothing?
They were just a bad team. You know what I mean? Like, but those two dudes should have been enough to get to the tournament.
Right, but that's my point. That basketball is the one sport where having extreme talent. Dog, that Marquette team had no business. That Marquette team with D Wade would not have done anything with D Wade on that team.
Mm-mm.
Right.
That Memphis team with Derrick Rose, same thing. Like we've seen guys who are them go to teams that Jimmy Butler on that team on the Marquette team, right?
I don't think he was on the Wade team.
No, he wasn't on the Wade team. I think he's on his own team. Like these are people that have been on teams like that. Like okay, this team isn't great, but this kid, he's carrying it. I didn't see that in college from him. That's why when people keep telling me, "Oh, he's better than these people that way outperformed him," I'm like, based on what?
So like Dylan Harper averaged 19 points on 48% shooting. Ace averaged 17.6 with 7 boards on 46%. Nobody else on the team scored in double digits.
That's tough, bro.
So
How many shots did they get?
between the two of them, you're looking at 37 points, and the team average was 77.
Okay, how many shots did they take? What was the percentage of the shots that they took?
Oh, they took all the shots.
That's my point.
So between them, they took 842 shots out of 1,939.
So that's 30% of the shots?
Yeah, about 30.
maybe a little bit more. Hold on, I'm gonna try to do
Yeah, like
math real quick while y'all talk. And that's just
yeah,
nuts.
yeah. It's that's why I was like, okay, they were like, oh, these guys scored a bunch. Okay, they scored a bunch, but are they efficient or are
That
they just
was
taking a bunch of
that was
shots?
43.4% of the shots.
43.4% of shots, almost 50% of the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna average the majority of the team points.
Yeah. But I mean, they were still pretty good as far as, like I said, 48% and 46%. So it wasn't like they were like shooting 39% or something along those lines. But that's where like I said though, my problem was it was like they just threw all that at Ace Bailey. Like, why wasn't the team more successful? And it's like, well, Dillon was there too. And saying y'all are convinced that like I've heard people say, like, yo, if there was no Cooper Flag, Dillon Harper would have been hands down the number 1 draft pick, getting the hype that Cooper Flag was getting. And it's like, well, if that's the case, then he got to get some of this criticism too.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And I'll go ahead and just do this little brief aside. Yo, Ron Harper, shut up, yo. Already. Already. Like, already. He just got drafted.
That
Shut
man
up.
hate Utah, man.
No, he hates everything apparently. Because like now he's got I haven't heard the name Ron Harper since 1997.
I'm dead.
Now you got all the words. Now you got so much to say. Now you're the media. No, shut up. I'm telling you now. Shut up.
Well, I just don't know.
I'm already.
I mean, his other son, hasn't really done anything. So, it's kind of, I don't know what the word is, just kind of odd. Ron Harper Jr.
Oh, dang. The namesake.
Yeah, say he played 2 years in Toronto.
Rajon Lewis Jr. would never.
He played 2 years in Toronto. He played this year in Detroit, but he's been mostly in the G League. And it's not like Dillon can shoot. So, that's why I'm like, I'm not saying Dillon isn't worthy of the number 2 draft pick. I just don't know if he's a consensus number 2 draft pick.
Number 2, my boy.
Like, I don't know if he's that can't miss prospect.
And my bad, because my phone had cut out right when I asked that question because I was because I think that, like Jeremiah fears, Dillon Harper, since they got Fox and Castle, Dillon Harper might be one of those guys that might be in a Dillingham or Reed Shepherd role. What do you think?
Well, that's what it makes me wonder. You know what I mean? Is this a try it out year? There he is. You know what I'm saying? Is this a try it out year?
Take that, Ron Harper.
Is this a try it out year and see how it goes? And if Dillon shows himself to be, what they think he is, do you potentially come off of Fox?
Because wait, didn't he sign his deal, or did he sign with the Kings and they traded that deal to the Spurs?
No, I think he's waiting on an extension still.
He didn't get paid from the Kings? That's crazy.
I don't think so. No, because coming into last year, his thing was, I want to see what's going to happen. And then there were rumors that he was going to go to Miami at one point. Like, hey, if things don't work out in Sacramento next year, he'll go to Miami. So he just kind of intercepted with the I want to go to the Spurs thing. Like, that was just all him. So right now he's on a 5-year 163, and he's a free agent after this season.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So is this a tryout year where if Dillon does the thing, they're going to go, all right, you're no longer needed here? Or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or is Dillon auditioning for another team? Like, hey, like, let's give this guy some minutes, and if he takes off, people will be banging down our door to get him. I don't know, because none of them can shoot. He can't shoot. Castle can't shoot. De'Aaron Fox isn't necessarily what you would call a shooter.
Right.
So it's like you can't necessarily play all 3 of them on the floor together. even though you would like to. You probably can't do that for long periods of time because then it clogs everything up for Victor.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel that. Yeah, stylistically, yeah, man. It's just, what would you? I mean, if Derek Fox becomes, Derek Fox, Anthony Simons, Jalen Brown, Tatum, maybe a little bit of Mark Williams,
See, and that's the thing. Like, people got to remember too. Like, expiring contracts are very valuable. So, Boston doesn't have to trade Simons to get the value out of him. They just keep him, and then at the end of the year, the money come off the books. You know what I mean? Same thing that the Wizards did with because people were like, why they give up Jordan Poole to get CJ McCollum? They didn't. They just wanted CJ McCollum's contract.
right? A little bit of flexibility going forward, you know.
Yeah,
so
and then next year, you get the cap space that Brooklyn had this year.
Mm-hmm. And so, and well, yeah, I do want to ask you, what was your response to that question that I did ask about the initial one, Jeremiah Fears and Dylan Hammond and Reed Shepard?
No, I don't think New Orleans is in a position to do that. Because like I said,
Poole and Wante Murray.
Well, I don't know what Murray's status is. You know what I mean? Because he tore his ACL pretty late, so I don't imagine that he's going to start the season. Then you got Alvarado was hurt too, or so I don't know what you're starting the season from. So I would imagine that
they were her team though, for sure.
He has to play at least the first quarter of the season at least, and if you're playing them then you might as well just ride it out.
No, I definitely agree. So, like you were saying, I mean, it started with Kuzma. Then y'all brought in Chris Midman. We got my dog Radical Jack.
Nigga.
No yeet.
Go ahead, nigga.
Oh.
What up, Rez? What up, 2-5?
What up,
nigga? What up, hoe ass nigga?
Homeboy pod.
That's crazy. How did you even get the invite?
Come to the goddamn camera.
Which one of y'all sent him the invite?
Come to the goddamn camera. Hoe ass nigga.
Hey Jack, Jack,
nigga.
thanks for the call earlier today, dog. Hey Jack, thanks for the call earlier,
hey,
man.
Just
checking on me.
Man, it's all love, brother.
I really appreciate that,
bro.
Stick together. Thank you, man.
Black men got to stick together. Real black men.
That's crazy. I agree.
Real black men. Black men from the South got to stick together.
That's crazy. What? Virginia is below the Mason Dixon line.
Niggas with winning teams got to stick together.
Baltimore below the Mason Dixon line too. Y'all don't give us South.
If your team ain't been to the Super Bowl in at least 3 years, he just
Is that a long time?
I don't know. You the one. I don't know. You the one talking about leaving.
Look, you talking about is that a long time? Hey, brother, let me tell you something. You got a long time, bro.
You got a long time.
Well, hold on. I still got the most recent championship between a lot of us in this part.
Not all of us though.
Oh, I'm gonna say the only one with a more recent Jonas is my man right here.
It's been real, Radical Jack. You see that guy over there. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Recency is crazy, considering that I'm literally the reigning champ. That was a crazy statement. You just
I said most. I didn't say all. I said most.
I don't care about most.
I just wanted to give Jack, props for being a real one and calling me on the phone.
Hey man, when I hear bad things, or when I hear news that doesn't sound too pleasant, I like to check on my friends. Yeah. I think that's what friends are supposed to do.
My God,
that's crazy.
My guy called me. I was like, "Yo, man, I don't like the sound of your voice right now."
That's crazy.
You gotta cheer up, man.
Yes, it's just.
That's what's up, man. Thank you, Jack.
So
hey, man,
no problem, bro. Like I was saying, 2-5.
2-5, appreciate you coming out to meet me at the bar, bro. Appreciate that, man.
We gotta do it again. We gotta do it again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, appreciate you coming out, Cups.
Hey, bro.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta get one of them. We gotta get one of them congressional seats too.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice if Cups he can't even keep up with the pod. This nigga just disappeared yesterday.
Yeah, Jack.
Gosh, man.
He said, "How y'all feeling?"
Man, Jack.
How y'all feeling?
Jack.
Pulled up, didn't hear nothing.
That's because again,
he said, "How y'all feeling?" He said, "How y'all feeling?" I said, "Yeah, I'm feeling a little sad. I could use the laugh."
Bro.
And my man was just like,
Fuck
Nah,
that.
we not potting.
Because everybody else was like, bro, everybody else was like Taco Tuesday, bro. I was like, what's
That's
the Taco
crazy.
Tuesday?
Rajon and Jack definitely said, "Yo, let's go." He said, "Nah, fuck them."
Was that the case though?
Nah,
We might
It's
have
literally,
that
you know,
was the
there's text messages,
case.
right? Like, there's literally proof.
That was the case.
There's literal proof.
I'm gonna have to
It,
plead. I'm gonna
it
have to plead the
happened.
fifth
I
on.
even,
The only
I
one said
even
he.
made
The only one said
another
he.
statement. I said, "Yo, are we potting?"
I'm
Yep.
gonna have to go no contest on that joke. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
I'm gonna
Because
have
the
to.
only one that said he couldn't come
was
on
2-5.
was 2-5. Because I said because you said I heard y'all are friends. Why don't you call your friends? And I said,
Which
well,
you
maybe
threw
I
a
will do a
crazy
behind the
slug when
scenes
we were trying to
pod.
talk to you.
What about
That's
your
just
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
friends? They're
that's
gonna
just crazy.
Yep.
stand their
But it's
ground.
okay though, because like I said, man, me and Rumi Road, that's my dog right there. So it's
That's
all good, bro.
Shout out to Ramiro.
cool. Where's
That's
he
all
at
good,
right
Rumi
now?
Road.
Shout out to
Where's he
Ro.
at? Is he on
Where's
the
he at
pod?
right
I told
now?
him.
I ain't
Where's he at
seen
right
that
now?
man since the Tampa Bay Rays started chomping on the Yankees'
That's
ass.
crazy. I think I think I'm the newest person on this pod, and my attendance record is Hall of Fame compared to a lot of your quote unquote boys.
You
Impeccable.
know what I'm saying?
Impeccable, if you will.
Well, I mean,
The
Impeccable, if
Tampa
you
Bay
will.
some
Rays
people
and
in the
the
group chat just be
the
confined to
Rays
the
and the
group
Blue
chat. You
Jays to
know what
cut
I'm
it down
saying?
to a game.
You know what I'm saying?
So some people in the chat
Hey,
just
you
be
know what else is
confined to
crazy?
the
You
chat.
know what else is crazy? Niggas send music in the group chat, and you know who actually listens to it? Not your boys.
Jack does.
Me.
Jack does. Jack
That's
does.
tough.
In fact, not only does Jack listen to it, he sends it to other group chats for people to listen to.
It's crazy.
That's tough.
Hey, I was
Crazy.
listening to. I got stuck in the rain. You know what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying?
saying? On a lake
I felt
house.
the pain.
Lake House. We're listening to Lake
You know what I'm
House.
saying? I felt
Okay.
the pain.
Okay. Oh, whole lot of rain, whole lot of pain. Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Shout out to the band, bro. Shout
Yeah.
out to the band.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, whatever, man. I'm just Jack. I'm just a whole ass nigga.
No, but
You
listen,
know.
some people that's in the chat, man, they just be confined to the chat, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Word.
man.
Apologize to Jack, man. You owe Jack an
I don't know
apology.
jack
Crazy.
shit. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jack
I'm sorry.
shit.
You owe Jack an apology.
Okay.
I apologize.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Thank
it.
you.
Hey, I got a podcast.
That man lost his title in the middle of the week.
That's crazy.
He lost his title on a Tuesday.
Hey, that's crazy, dog. It's cool, man. I'm about to make a Facebook post, and I'm gonna say, don't ever ask me to listen to Lake House again.
I ain't gonna lie though. You know what I'm saying? I've been a little disappointed in those Lethal Cups collabo records. Where they at?
Bruh, he got to get in the booth.
They only got 2.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
Where my
gotta get
man
in the
Ted
booth.
DiBiase
I
at? He
had
gotta
a
get on the
mean
track
joke I was about
too.
to put there.
My dog Ted DiBiase. Oh,
I
yeah,
had a
you already
mean
know.
joke I was about to put there.
Me
You know what I'm
and
saying?
the
Get
$1 million man.
I got a
Get the $1 million
question.
man on the track.
Yeah, you talking about getting
Me
in
and
the
the $1
booth?
million man going to the booth next
Yeah,
week.
y'all should be able to get in the booth every time you get off work.
Yeah, you know, it's just a scheduling
You know what I'm
thing.
saying? I'm waiting for the freestyle from inside the truck.
Hell yeah. We got my
What up,
dog
Unc?
Yeah,
still
I'm
cutting
assuming.
Unc representing live in the building. Hey Unc, man, I just
No comment.
no, Unc, I just been pondering. You know, I
No
just been
comment.
thinking, right?
Has Unc been on since Aaron got drafted, got signed?
Yeah, he was on here Friday,
Yeah, he was on here.
but that was
Did he discuss
no, that was
Aaron?
the day that Lethal kept like I don't even know what Lethal was on that day.
Oh yeah, I don't
So I don't want to make it
But
all
if
about
I do-
Aaron, even though I do, but
this nigga just
I
lied.
don't want to make
It's
it about
crazy.
Aaron Rodgers, but is the Steelers that they're making a lot of moves, but does anything about this say we're trying to do it this year?
Yeah, actually, a lot of it does.
What is it?
They're trying to go deep with the scraps that they can find.
They're trying to
I
make
respect
a
it.
Super Bowl run.
I mean, I would love if they go get an
They're trying to
offensive
win
lineman or
8 to
two.
9 games.
Yeah. Oh shit! Hey, I'll be back. Hold up. Oh.
But if they had an offensive
What you
lineman
think,
or
Unc?
two, you know what I'm saying? I feel a lot better about it. You know what I'm saying? If they pay TJ Watt, I feel a lot better about it.
Hey, we got a young brother by the name of Kayshon Boutte. And we got a couple.
Mm.
We got maybe a one. We got maybe a 2 and a 3 for you. Maybe a 4
Mm.
for the services of TJ Watt.
Where's my stats man at? What did they get? What did they get for the make a trade for 2026?
They got Jalen Ramsey, and I think it was a 5th round pick?
Okay, so now you add that 5th round pick to the 7 picks they got next year in next year's draft. A 1st rounder, a bunch of 2nd rounders, I think 3 3rd rounds, some shit like that. Anyway,
Yeah. So hold on real quick. They gave up Minka and a 5th round pick for Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 7th round pick.
okay. Now, please explain to me how giving up your 2nd best defensive player,
Come on, bro.
best and your best option at safety since Troy retired. Please, outside of him being on the latter end of his career and a little injury prone, slightly. The hamstring just doesn't heal for whatever reason. But I mean, if you're flying around like a human missile, shit's gonna happen. Please explain to me, from the outside looking in, because y'all don't know what greatness is, except for one. Y'all cheated to get those trophies, but I digress.
Okay.
Please explain.
Unfounded.
Facts is facts. Anyway,
Unfounded facts.
facts is facts.
Liberal media facts.
Liberal media, okay. The liberal media wasn't liberal up until 5 years ago when Howie started making moves that y'all wasn't complaining about every time he made a move. I digress. Please explain to me the logic behind this trade. You traded for him from the team that you traded him back to. And the only difference between this trade and that trade, in my opinion, is Brian Flores isn't the head coach.
Damn.
Was the
That's the only
reason,
difference.
which was the reason you traded for him in the first place, because he said he didn't want to play for Brian Flores.
Crazy business.
You got it. This reminds me of, remember that Eagle squad that they said was going to be the super team that had all those
Vince Young.
veterans?
Asamoah.
Yeah, and your boy Young at quarterback, and they had that defense that was supposed to be lights out. And what wasn't Kelly the coach? That was their first fuck up. But I'm just saying, it reminds me of that. You putting a bunch of, I'm not gonna say has-beens, but let's just say their better years are behind them, especially on defense. Your defense is in the same position they've been in the last 5 years. They're going to have to win more games for you than your offense, because your offense isn't built to win games. You was winning ugly games last year. For the last 3 years, you've been winning ugly games. And they all hinged on a defensive play. You're in the same boat as far as I'm concerned, with older talent. The only good thing I can see out of this is maybe Porter Jr. learns a thing or two from Ramsey, if Ramsey's in the teaching mode. But if it's Ramsey's in there for, I'm just here to get my check and my stats, then you're going to have a divided defensive squad and an offense that ain't going to gel. Please tell me what Jonnu Smith did in Miami.
Whoa, hold on now. He put up 800 yards.
He dressed up.
He was tough. He was tough in Miami.
He dressed up.
Okay, but he did that. He did that with a younger quarterback, correct?
This is true.
Please
Y'all
tell
got 3 tight ends.
But we're not here. And here's the beauty of that. We have 4 tight ends, but we're not going to play the old New England 2 tight end Bill Belichick set. We're not going to do that. Why? Because you put all that money into DK Metcalf. Why would you play a 2 tight end set when you got him on one side and this Smith kid on the other side? You're not going to be tight end oriented, which would open it up for the receivers. You're going to be receiver. You're going to be receiver oriented, and the tight ends are going to be your escape like they've been the last 5 years.
But I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's had good relationships with tight ends, but his best offense is run through the quick screens, the check downs, and the wide receivers.
You're talking about a 40-something-year-old man behind a suspect offensive line that couldn't keep a mobile quarterback upright. You're gonna go back to the Todd Haley days where Ben had the ball in his hand less than 2 seconds. That's what you're going back to?
I mean, that's Aaron Rodgers' game, though. You know, the quick screens, the hot routes, stuff like that.
Oh, but that makes you just as predictable as it's made you the last 5 years. You haven't had a defense on their toes since Ken Wisenhunt was your offensive coordinator.
And we don't think that he has the mobility to get away like he used to either.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Your line is still a work in progress. You have a 40-something-year-old quarterback who, what was it, his Achilles or was it his ankle?
His Achilles.
It was the Achilles, yeah.
Okay, you lost more. You don't know nobody in professional sports that has come back from that with the same mobility that they had before they got that injury. Nobody.
And then, you know what I mean? And then they gave up. They let Najee walk. You know, they brought in some. You know, I like the running back they drafted. You know, they got Jalen Warren, who I don't think is a every down back anyway.
But that's what they're banking on, at least for this year.
Shout out to Caleb Johnson.
They got what's his name? Gainwell. That came over from Philly. And they got Rez's guy Trey Sermon.
Well,
why is Trey Sermon my guy?
The only
once a Niner, always a Niner.
The only Philly.
No, that's not. No.
Philly thing I'm still irritated over is Patrick Peterson 2.0, because that's all Darius Slay is. He's gonna get burned. He's gonna get burned every other play.
You think so, though?
Yes. It was starting to happen in Philly. It was starting to happen.
What did I see him do in Philly? What was the radical kid?
What they call him? Got played Slay?
Yeah, exactly. Every other week or every other Sunday, he was saying Slay got burnt like toast. Slay this, Slay that, Slay ass, Slay trash. That's all I kept hearing. So you mean to tell me he's going to go from one side of Pennsylvania to the other, and all of a sudden he gonna be something different? No, he's not. At this point, you could bring back Artie Burns.
Damn.
And that's no cap, no glizzy, no glazing right there.
Say it again.
No cap, no glizzy, no glazing.
Say it again. If AB was on the roster, only corner that would be safe right now if AB was on the roster would be Junior, and that's only because he's still learning. AB would cook every one of these corners they got right now in practice and expose every one of them, just like he did Burns.
And Ross Cromwell.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. I love me some Beanie Bishop.
Yeah, okay, whatever, man.
And they did mention that Jalen Ramsey might be taking snaps at safety. So
I did hear that, or at the very least, maybe moving over to the slot a little more.
Okay, so we tried that with Cornell Lake back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Ooh, what a name.
That was before your time. But anyway, I still got the jersey. But I had to retire another jersey yesterday, which brings the total of about 10 jerseys I have that are basically framing wall material. I don't plan on buying a jersey, but I will get my hoodie for Somerville Green Wave Band from a certain person when they finally hook up with me. Give me my product.
You said I need my product.
Yep, sure am. I'm trying to. It's right in here too. I got it for you. We supposed to be meeting up. We haven't met up yet. Let me know when, huh?
Crazy.
I gotta pay off one of my dinner bets. So we'll do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Like, let me know. We meet up, and I give you the thing. You buy me a steak, and I'll meet
Because
you.
that's what friends do. They buy each other steak. You know what I'm saying?
But
Yeah, I mean, and call people when they don't feel
yeah,
well.
I'm just so yeah. Like I was saying, man, DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers. What kind of relationship do you feel like this is going to be on the field?
I feel like the moment the first game three, you will know there's some discourse going on because he either can't get the ball to him or he won't get the ball.
Mm.
But
You going in and out, Unc. You going in and out.
he can't throw the long ball like DK wants him to. And DK is not a short route, slant route type of receiver. And unless he has a 5'10" or shorter corner on him, he can't be functional. He plays bully ball, and you can't play bully ball in the AFC North.
See, that's where Roman Wilson comes in.
Yeah, national champion.
Michigan Wolverine.
I don't like I said. This is probably the first year in probably the last 15 that I have serious doubts about the winning season. I don't. 17 games, 8 and 9 wouldn't be out of the question. You're not going to beat Baltimore. You're not going to beat Baltimore. You probably split with Cleveland. Maybe you beat Cincinnati. Then you got the out of conference or out of division schedule. You probably go 500 with that just based on the teams you playing have lesser talent than you. Or
Well,
that you have.
but you start in 1-0, right? That's half the battle.
Who we play first? See,
The
that's what
Jets.
yeah, okay, maybe. But if Justin Fields has an Ohio State day, we could be in trouble. We could see another game like when Terrell Pryor was with the Raiders, and he lit them up for all them yards on the quarterback option because that's all the Raiders had at the time. We could see that.
All right, how about this? I'm gonna give you the first 10 real quick, and you tell me what the record will be after those 10.
4-6.
I ain't even saying yet.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Wait,
Oh, damn it.
I'll make sure you let me know if it's a home or a road.
I will. All right, here we go. Taking it from the top. At the Jets. Then
Okay.
home
I'll play along with you. 1-0.
home against Seattle.
2-0.
At New England.
I dare you.
3-0.
Nah.
At New England? Yeah, come on.
They got a defense, and if we can't rattle May, depending on what they offense doing, that could be another.
Then they go overseas for Minnesota.
We gonna lose that game. It'll be an Adrian Peterson flashback. The last time we played them overseas. 3-1.
All right, then you got the bye week. Come off the bye week, home for Cleveland.
We'll take that one. 4-1.
Thursday night at Cincinnati.
We losing that one.
Green Bay at home.
We losing that one.
Mm-hmm.
Colts at home.
We gonna get that one.
All right. And that Green Bay game is a Sunday night football game, by the way. And then we got at the Chargers on Sunday night football.
They could lose that one because Najee could get 150 yards.
And then finally, the 10th game is home against Cincinnati.
That'll be a 6-9 game because the offense will pass and the defense will keep us in it, but all they're gonna do is field goals. And Rodgers probably won't be the starter by then; he'll be injured.
All right.
So that 6-4 or 7-3.
Either one is fine, I guess. I think I could see. I could really see them starting 4-0.
Can you see them winning the division?
No,
Okay, then what's the purpose?
because you can still make the playoffs without winning the division.
He did that last year. What happened? It was another first-round exit.
Well, that was just matchup dependent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but I can't fault other teams for playing to win like you're supposed to be doing and winning your division and getting home field. I can't fault other teams for that. But if you just like I've said before, if you just come out and say, we gonna scrap a year and put ourselves in position to get Arch, and then we bouncing back. If you tell me that, I'm a little more comfortable with what to expect. But you out here, like I say, getting a bunch of has-beens that are beyond their prime and putting them in a setup where you got some of these so-called commentators saying now they're Super Bowl contenders. But 2 weeks ago, you were saying they wasn't even gonna have a winning record.
I mean, the good news is Cincinnati still doesn't have a defense. You know, Cleveland still doesn't have a quarterback as far as we know.
Oh, I heard that Deion son was going to be the starter, so that was false news.
Well, even if he is, I mean, there's still going to be an adjustment.
Okay, maybe an adjustment against the Ravens, but by the time he get to us, they'll have a scheme for him to keep it simple and basic. Don't lose the game. Maybe put him in a setup like Shanahan tried to do RG3. Maybe. But they even at that, they still have a defense. Cleveland's defense is probably going to be top 10.
Right.
Baltimore defense is going to be
That's
top
tough.
5. Cincinnati is the weakest link out of the
Cleveland
4.
top 10 is tough.
So at best, we'll have the third best defense in our division. At best.
Yeah.
Just based off of what's been previously done. The personnel you have. Even if this secondary gels to where they can be a dominant secondary, you're still a work in progress because this is y'all first year playing together. Whereas when you had Minka back there, you didn't have to worry about it. Your floor general was putting everybody in position. Now you got a new floor general. I don't worry about the linebacker as long as Queen back there. Because Queen is basically what there would have been in the same time frame. And we done went through 2 different middle linebackers in the draft that didn't pan out. So Queen, I don't worry about the linebackers. My only concern with that front 3 is Cam's long in the tooth. If healthy by week 5, we doing good. So and TJ gonna do TJ until he.
Well, that's the one thing I don't like. I don't like how early your bye is.
Exactly. I don't like a bye before week 8. And ours is what,
week
5
yeah.
or week 4? Okay, so week 5. So that means you got another 11, 12 weeks of that's 3 months straight of grinding.
Yeah, I don't think the Pats got a bye until December.
But that works for a veteran squad, but not so much for when you got as many players that you rely on that could possibly be injured after your
Right.
bye.
So, what was did y'all give the whole 10 or y'all just did the first 4?
We just
No, we just
we did the first 10.
and I think it was 7-3 or 6-4. I think it was 7-3, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 4-6.
At what point do you press the panic button? At what point do you start changing quarterbacks?
Week 1.
Mm.
I'm not
For
a
the Steelers?
I'm not a fan. Not a fan, period, of the quarterback room. I was more of a fan of last year's quarterback room than I am of this one, only because you had 2 mobile quarterbacks that could win you a game, but also not lose you a game. This quarterback room right here, once Aaron Rodgers drops off, it's a straight drop off. You're not relying on Mason Rudolph to win you a game. He's already proven he can't do that in 2 different locations.
And that's what I was gonna ask you. Does Aaron Rodgers go down
might-
with the ship, or can we possibly see Mason Rudolph this year?
You're gonna see him this year. I'm not even. That's not even a doubt in my mind, because I don't see the projected starter going 17 games.
Right.
Based on your offensive line play, I don't see him making it through 17 games. The 2 games against Cleveland alone are going to put him in jeopardy.
And side note, the day after signing his $240 million contract, Jaren Jackson now has a turf toe.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Dude, stealing
You know what
money,
I'm saying?
dog.
But on that note, y'all be good. I got to roll.
Yeah, man, we done reached that
Oh, man.
goddamn hour 7-minute mark in this here.
Got to get out there and win 7-minute mark.
Dang, hot box and it's Taco Tuesday, man. We appreciate everybody for coming through the smoke with us, man. You already know I'm Styrofoam Ralph. This Cups in the Gang, live from the motherfucking hot box. You already know I have my dog El Residente San Jose representing live in the building. Shout out to Stitch, man. And you already know I got my dog, one half of Sports Reports, as ordered 2-5. Mike Will representing live in the motherfucking building. And you know I got my dog Steel Curtain on. Shout out to the first 10 games. What did you say? You wouldn't be surprised if it was 4-6, but we hoping for a 7-3.
Yeah, somewhere in between, but either or. Can we get Jaden Daniels' mama a boot so she can get
Oh, so is that what we're doing? Damn, man. So now I done lost 2-5 too.
I don't know. Shout out to Dylan Harper mama.
We got matching stitches going on.
Oh Lord, yeah. Ooh, good God. Ron Harper fumbled the bag.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
Good God.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
I'm gonna post a smash or
I'm dead.
pass on the box.
So look, fellas, man,
when he comes
we rolling the windows down, we letting the smoke out, man. But above all else, fuck Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Fuck Kevin Durant. Fuck Rudy Chamberlain. And fuck Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with that being said,
Fantastic Four.
You know, and fuck these jurors in New York if they don't do the right thing.
Absolutely, bro. Well, yeah, no. So yeah, Thursday's gonna be are we gonna be able to make it for Thursday? Because I kind of want to talk about politics on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be in these Baltimore streets on Thursday. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Look, catch us again for the Thursday smoke rally, man. We love